feels like that, and it's actually Loudoun County School Board.
The phenomenon of school board meetings is all about the phenomenon, I believe, of representative democracy and having community, lay people give governance and guidance to school systems, school district. I think anybody would tell you, including most school board members, that the business of school boardsmanship takes a lot of time. Public education was first mandated by the General Assembly in 1870, so most school districts in the state have their origins in that date. We've actually traced back that we actually had schools in 1870. Very rural. There were literally more cows than people in Loudoun County. We were a big dairy producer, second corn producer in the state, but we were still just 25 miles from Washington, D.C. And yet it seemed like we were an eternity away in many ways.
Call this meeting back to order, please.
Originally, I was going to give you a blow-by-blow detail of my de-staffing experience of last year.
Nobody mentioned out of county. That's not part of the study.
I made my substitute motion based on the wealth of knowledge that we did receive at our last meeting.
The school board brings a good dynamic to the process.
You, Mr. or Mrs. Principal, need to tell us who do you keep on the faculty. What that leaves then is a need for construction funding. So the determination we requested and received in the attached letter will allow NVRPA.
Yeah, we finished up a little after 11 last night, and then by the time, the after board just conversations and things, it was about 11:45 when we got out of here. We are at Forest Grove Elementary School, coming here for breakfast, actually. It's very early in the morning. You're having breakfast. What's your name? Alice? I'm Dr. Hatrick. I'm your superintendent. Nice to see you. I truly am passionate about what I'm doing. Clearly, if there was some aspect of it I really didn't like, I could have retired and done something else a long time ago. But I'm not doing that because I can't think of anything I'd rather be doing than what I'm doing. Have you heard the forecast that we might have snow? Yeah, I'm the one who decides if we go to school. Oh, you like that, don't you? Yeah.
Ed has kept everyone very focused and very committed to the notion that this whole enterprise begins and ends with children and begins and ends with their education.
Come on, you got to eat up here. If you let me distract you and you don't eat your breakfast, then I'll get in trouble. So you have to eat your breakfast, okay? All right. Otherwise, you don't want me to get in trouble, do you? No. Okay.
He is someone who really inspires you to join his vision. He doesn't mean he has all the ideas. He invites you, you know what it is he wants to achieve overall, and he invites you to challenge his thinking.
We're headed off to the National Conference Center for the Chamber of Commerce board meeting. I graduated from Loudoun County High School in 1963. I came to Loudoun County in 1958. In those days, high school was 8th through 12th grade. I took a job working in the school system thinking I'd stay a semester, and 45 years later, I'm still here. I found that teaching really was what I wanted to do, but teaching high school kids was really the experience I wanted to have. Loudoun County, because in Virginia we're on a county system, so Loudoun County Public Schools serves the whole county. It's 550 square miles. We have 63,000 students, and we are growing by 3,000 students a year. When I became superintendent 20 years ago, we had about 14,000 students, and in the last 15 years, we've basically tripled in size.
He has taken us through a period of unprecedented growth where our population has tripled, and he's built 47 schools and all that stuff. I mean, when you look at all the data, but he has managed to keep the culture here focused on people, focused first and foremost on kids.
I consider myself privileged to be a Chamber of Commerce board member, but it gives me a monthly link to the formal link to the business community. So by serving on the Chamber board, I'm able to find people on the board who share the view that schools really are important, that they are an investment in the future. We're at 8:45 in the morning right now, and we're going to be at the school board meeting room by 9 o'clock, because that's when I'm on. Okay, several items for us to go over today. Well, once a month, I meet with all the principals in the county. It's an opportunity for me to talk to the people who, really are running those individual school units that are so important to the success of the overall school system. I mean, we're cool the way we are for right now. We don't need to change this horse in midstream, because the only way to solve the question, answer the question or solve the problem is with you or with a teacher. So I want to be sure that we have personally gone the extra mile.
My opinion is I feel like our voices are heard. We can't always have what we want the way we want, but I do feel like we're heard even on points where it won't necessarily turn out to be the way I'd like. You do feel your opinion can be expressed and can be heard, and that he's listening to it.
Here come the chefs and here comes the food, right? You got a lot of hungry principals waiting on you. Students from Monroe Technology Center have set up at lunchtime for everyone in the building. Thank you. Thank you. I've found over the years that what works for me is to listen to everybody.
He has the gift to let you know that you're on a mission that matters. And anytime that you need support from Dr. Hatrick, he's certainly the champion of our students first and foremost. And in order to champion the cause of our students, he always supports the staff.
You think you're okay? All right. I really do believe in collaboration. With drawing upon the strengths of the people with whom I work. I pay attention to details, and I think details are important. I try not to be distracted by them. And I try to keep remembering what the purpose of the discussion is. Is this good for boys and girls? And if it's not good for boys and girls, then why are we doing it?
All right, Ed, where are we going here? What's going on?
Okay, well, we have left our administrative offices and we're headed now to one of our older elementary schools, Sugarland Elementary School, located in a community called Sugarland Run. No, I remember the opening of this school very well. I'd been an educator 10 years when you opened it.
I was in 5th grade. We're down here in kindergarten, 1st grade land.
Kindergarten land, yeah. This is fascinating. But one of the things I love is I tell the teachers every year that when you see me out in public, please come up and tell me, if you want to, that you're a teacher here in the school system where you teach, and they share some of the most interesting things.
So they watch a movie first, and the relationship is face-to-face, one-on-one, personal, and easy to access the superintendent, which is really nice. We're growing fast, but we're still small enough that Dr. Hatrick can talk to you, come to your school. If he's not there, he's still aware of what's happening, what your needs are through supervisors and other folks.
Dominion High School, one of our newer high schools. These are the Titans, and you are being welcomed to Titan territory.
This would house about 1,600 students, but we reserve about 250 spaces in the school for an Academy of Science that serves all the high schools in Loudoun County. Good to see you. Yeah, well, you've had a busy day too, haven't you?
Yeah, well, for whatever reason, you know, every year has its own unique challenges. This year's challenge is I've had just some turnover, natural turnover during the school year.
Has it been that long?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good to see you for it,
That's
aren't
our
they?
native, our state fish.
Virginia State is a brook trout?
Yep.
Really?
He's certainly the champion of our students first and foremost. And in order to champion the cause of our students, he always supports the staff. So it's awesome in a school district as large as we are. I can pick up the phone 5 minutes from now, any day next week, ask to speak with him, and he'll be there for me or call me back in a few minutes.
He has changed and grown as the school system has changed. The expectations of the parents increase every year, but for the most part, he's really been able to look ahead and take us where we need to go so that we're ready for those things.
See you later. Take care now. Thank you. It's kind of unusual because I don't have an evening event tonight. So that'll be nice, but it's going to be a catch-up night for me because I'll be out tomorrow night and Friday night also.
And then he ends the day answering emails, phone messages, signing papers, and he's usually here at least until 11, 12 o'clock at night, every night.
Go ahead and tell Al to notify the principals. All right, let's go ahead then and institute the 2-hour early closing. The roads are very cold and are getting very slick very fast, and we're going to institute a 2-hour early closing. I hate this more than anything. There are a lot of safety concerns with closing school early. But that's what we're going to do.
To me, this is like playing for the Yankees, not being a starter, but playing for the Yankees. You have such pride that you were part of an organization with that level of history and quality. And that's really what Ed has created. And he'll tell you, if you sit him down, he'll say, well, no, that's not me. And he'll start talking about the fabric and the quilt that has been woven out of the contributions of all these people. But his leadership has been, seminal in really taking us through this growth and keeping that culture and that value, as we've moved through it.
If we're known as being successful at growth, I think it's because we're also known for being an instructional leader in the Commonwealth of Virginia and the nation. We are a better school system now than we were 20 years ago. I know for a fact, because the facts prove it.
He has changed and grown as the school system has changed.
We try very hard because some of us have been around since the time when we were a small school system, where you really did know almost everybody who worked for the schools. We could hold a meeting of all the staff in a high school auditorium. We've tried, as we have grown out of that, to not lose that sense of family, to not lose that sense of knowing one another. We never forget that we're all part of Loudoun County Public Schools, and that has to have meaning.